Okay, for this question, we're going to calculate h prime of t for h of t is equal to t over t plus 1 times t squared plus 1. Okay, so here we kind of have two things going on. We have a fraction, so we're definitely going to use quotient rule, and we have some kind of multiplication going on the bottom of groups of things. So we might have both going on here. All right. So let's identify what we have. So first of all, on the top we have this. This is our u or our high function. Okay, and on the bottom this is our low function according to the rhyme. Okay, so let's write it out. What we're going to have is h prime of t is equal to low d high. So we're going to copy everything down we see on the bottom. So low, this is the low part. Okay, so this is low, and then d high would be d dt of whatever's on top. So this is d high, and then less, so that's a minus sign, high, so we copy that down, and then d low looks like d dt of whatever you see on the bottom, so that's going to be t plus 1 times t squared plus 1. Okay, and that does it for the top, and then all over, or with low squared below, so we're going to write everything down we see on the bottom there, so all of that is going to be squared. Okay, you don't have to worry about the bottom so much because we're basically just going to leave it like that unless we factor at the end. Factor. Okay, so let's work with our ddt's. Alright, so we have h prime of t is going to equal, I think I'll just leave them for now as grouping. So t plus 1 times t squared plus 1, and then the derivative of t with respect to t is just going to be a 1. Okay, and then we have that minus a t times what? Okay, so here we have a little bit of a problem, like this is kind of like Inception. We have a problem within a problem. So first of all, to get to this first step, we use quotient rule. And now here, for this circled thing, we're going to need to use product rule, right? So our u is going to be t plus 1, and our v is going to be t squared plus 1. So if we have u times v prime, we're going to have a t plus 1 times v prime, that would be d dt of t squared plus 1. Okay, and then we have that addition sign from the product rule. And then we have u prime, so d dt of t plus 1 times v. Okay, so t squared plus 1. Sorry, it's kind of squished in there. Alright, got all the parentheses. And then on the bottom, we just leave our t plus 1 times t squared plus 1 quantity squared. Okay, so we're going to leave that. Alright, so continuing, I think I shall try to squish another line in here. We can fit it in. So h prime of t, if we keep going along, we can get rid of this 1. That's just there. So t plus 1 times t squared plus 1. And then we have a minus sign, minus t times what? So we have a t plus 1 first of all. And then d dt of t squared plus 1 is just going to be a 2t according to the power rule. And then plus, we have d dt of t plus 1, so that would just be a 1. From this t here, the constant turns into a 0 when you derive it, right? And then we have our t squared plus 1 there. Okay, I think I have an even number of parentheses there. Okay, and we're going to just, again, copy down the bottom. Okay, so t plus 1 times t squared plus 1 quantity, the whole thing squared. Okay, so now let's simplify a little bit more on the bottom. We'll distribute some more things, and I'll write the next step on the next slide. Okay, so now we have that h prime of t is going to equal our, let's see, so if we, I'll just copy it down here so you guys can follow along. So we had t plus 1 times t squared plus 1. Here I'm just copying down the last step that we had on the previous slide, minus t times t plus 1 times 2t, and then plus a 1 times t squared plus 1. Okay, so that was there, and then we had a t plus 1 times a t squared plus 1 quantity squared on the bottom. Okay, so we're back to where we started on the last, where we ended on the last slide. And now when we distribute things on the top, what we're going to get is a t to the third plus t squared plus a t plus 1. So that's this first thing here. That's what I just did. And then we have a minus t times what? A 2t squared plus 2t plus t squared plus 1. Okay, so this is just a bunch of like simplifying at this point, just a bunch of algebra. Okay, so t squared plus 1, squared, okay? And then h prime of t, let's see what we have on the top here. So this is a t cubed plus t squared plus t plus 1 minus a 2t cubed, and then we have minus a 2t squared minus a t cubed, and then minus a t, okay? And on the bottom, I'll just factor out what's in here. So what we're going to get is a t cubed plus a t squared plus a t and plus a 1. So all of that is squared, okay? And then if we keep going here, we're going to definitely need more slides. So I'll just fit one more line in here. So as far as the t cubes on the top, what we have is a 1 minus a 2 minus another 1. So we end up with a negative 2t cubed. And then let's see how many t squareds do we have. So we have this one here. So we're ignoring the cubes because we finished those. Okay. The t squareds, we have a positive 1 and a negative 2. So we have a negative 1t squared. As far as the t's go, so we finished with those, sorry. So as far as the t's, we have a plus t, a positive t, and a negative t, so those ones go away completely. And then we have this plus 1 left. And on the bottom, all we need is that t cubed plus t squared plus t plus 1 squared. Okay, so I lied. We didn't need any extra slides. This is actually our final answer, okay? And you're always welcome to simplify that bottom there by foiling that out however many times you need to. But anyways, I think that this is an acceptable answer. All right? So this was quite an example, this last one here, because we used both the quotient rule and the product rule to solve this problem. So that was quite a doozy. So if you went through and followed along with all of those steps, then I'd say you're good to go. Alright, so that's it for the practice problems video for product and quotient rules. Good luck, and I hope that helped, and happy studying.